Sorry for the crappy camera work done. All right, move this back a little bit. There we go. So, a little late this week. Let me turn on Miles. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I was having a very hard time with tuning, and my friend, great drummer Paul Wells, mentioned that the snare drum and the high tom were not tuned far enough in pitch. I think he said it has to be more than at least a minor second interval away, which it really wasn't. So the drag was I liked the sound of my snare drum. I've been playing it at a lot of softer locations, restaurant gigs and things like that, or outside where we have to play soft currently because of COVID. So, point being, I had tuned my snare drum down quite a bit, and it was loose. It felt really good. But when I came to the basement to play it with my high tom, it was just too much snare ring. So I've retuned, and I'm much happier with it, actually. I think it... Snare drum is higher in pitch. This high tom is a little lower in pitch, but I think it sounds cool with the floor tom. And snare drum is still a little tight for my liking, but it's much better. I'm never super one to go, crank, bop tuning. I generally like sort of medium jazz tuning. But anyway, I think I've solved the problem, and I'm pretty pleased with the way they sound. I don't know how they sound through the video, but we'll find out. As always, I'm checking the chat. If anyone has any questions about anything, doesn't really matter what that is. If you have any questions about anything, chat me up. In the meantime, I'm shedding this, I'll show you actually. Here's this book. I recorded an episode yesterday of this Jack DeJohnette phrase. It's really just something out of this book. I don't know if anybody's seen this. Jack DeJohnette and Charlie Perry, The Art of Modern Jazz Drumming. That sounds nice, right? Multi-directional technique. There's a lot of fun things in this book. So I'm looking at just this 2-measure. So it's like, I don't know, you can see how it's written. It's a lot of triplet exercises. But a lot of it is cool because it's not just bebop comping exercises. A lot of it is really, it said multi-directional technique, and that's a lot what it is. So you're using your hi-hat a lot as comping with your hands in unison. Is cool. This 2-measure phrase from this book I've been shedding, so I'm going to share that with you right now. I'm going to move this a little bit lower. Maybe you can still see my face. All right. So here's the phrase. It's really quite simple. It's just snare, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass, and then at the very last part, it's snare, snare, bass, bass. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. It's not earth-shattering, but it's really great. So I start sometimes by not even playing my cymbal beat, because actually Jack says in the book you can practice it without practicing your cymbal beat if you don't want to, that you might find some hip things to do with your cymbal if you don't practice it with your cymbal beat. So I practice with quarter notes. Now, I will say it might just be me, but I find that this pattern, because you have those two lefts, a lot of times when they line up with my cymbal beat, the cymbal beat is actually easier for me than playing quarter notes. It's more challenging for me to play this with just quarter notes than with the cymbal beat. So don't always think that the cymbal beat is the hardest option. It's sometimes it's not. So what I need to shed now is getting around my left hand to make some different voicings. That might be ambitious. Flipping between ending on the high tom and ending on the low tom. So, you know, that's something for sure. Checking the chat. They're not popping up. There we go. Yeah. Can play drums for you. Try it. Try it. I'm going to keep shedding it for now because it's killing me. Just go slower, Chris. Go slower. So when I'm practicing stuff, and I say this to students, regardless of age or ability level, the point of practicing is to train your muscles how to do it correctly. Speed doesn't really mean shit until your muscles know how to do it right. So oftentimes I find the slower I do it, the quicker it gets into my muscles, and it's sort of like going from first gear to fourth. you know. But if I start at second gear instead of first, I got to go to 3. You see what I'm saying? So if I start at 2, I'm starting kind of fast already, so I go from 3 to 4. But if I start at 1 and I train my muscles how to do it, I have a better chance of just going straight to 4. So I have to remind myself of that though too. Disorienting. All right, Larry, thanks for saying hi. Whoa, sorry. Bass drum and left hand switched. Bass drum and left hand switched. Bass drum and left hand. So, bass drum and left hand switched. Bass drum and left hand switched. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah. the bass drum and left hand switch. It's a lot of bass drum. Working on it. If anybody's out there hating, you should get on here and practice and videotape yourself practicing and let the whole world see it. It's not that easy. Trying. It does sound like a K-Wash phrase. True indeed. That shit is hard, but working on it. So thanks for busting my chops on that, man. Any other questions out there from anybody? Anybody shedding anything interesting? I'm also working on, just when I come down to play, I'm working on playing my left cymbal with my left stick, but not playing my bass drum with it. You know, sort of editing that constant connection of bass drum with the cymbal. So I'm working on that with my left hand. So for example, if I'm just playing, I'm not every time, but the majority of the times, left cymbal, left hand, no bass drum. It's a nice sound. Adam Nussbaum is the master of this, I think. I go see him. He's he's one of the world's greatest cymbal players and beautiful musical drummer, but getting 100 different sounds out of the cymbals. But I always notice like he'll play a lot of left cymbal accents, but not with the bass drum, so that when he does play it with the bass drum, it has the little emphasis on it, you know? technical difficulty. Sorry, everybody. It's what happens with a startup business. So I was just saying, I'm working on not hitting my bass drum when I hit my left cymbal. So I kind of try to balance my practice routines, like maybe some things out of a book, maybe obviously some rudimental things, technical things, but also just larger, easy to grasp musical concepts like playing 2 bass drum notes and never smashing the beater into the head. Just play and practice doing that for a week. Practice not playing your bass drum every time you hit your cymbal for a week, right? Just find the things that maybe, they don't even have to be like the most annoying or horrible things, but find things that you don't love about your playing. Focus on it. Go down to your practice space and really play. Put on a record, play. All you're doing is focusing on eliminating some of those things that you maybe do too much. So another big one is this, that rim shot sound. There's a time and place. Some of us abuse that time and place by playing it too much. So a lot of times I'll have students just practice, but don't hit the rim shot sound. Just don't do it, Another good one is hitting the downbeat on beat 1 too much. Like ding, ding, a ding, ding, a ding, ding, a ding, ding, boom. Always hitting beat 1, just shed, play, high energy, low volume, play, and focus on not hitting those downbeats as much. For anybody that's listening, do you have anything like that you hear in your own playing? So for me, it was the bass drum always every time I hit my left cymbal. It was every time I played 2 bass drum notes, almost every time, I would dead stroke the last one. So I've been practicing just playing, instead of 2 open bass drum sounds. So it's just how about anybody that's listening? I'm going to check the chat. Anybody that's listening, have anything that is annoying about your playing that you could sit down and practice and just focus on not doing for a little while? Question was, that Easy Does It groove. I do not know the Easy Does It groove. What record is it from? I don't know it. I'm going to go sit over here. It's more comfortable. Oh, gosh. Egg padding. Easy Does It groove. I don't know it. Oh, with Cobb. No, actually I don't. Jazz Gods strike me down. Well, I'm gonna have to go check it out now. I don't know it. And I don't know it, because if I don't know it, if I can't sing the shit, I don't know it, right? So no, I don't know it. I'm going to check it out. Been listening to this a lot lately, which is not Cobb. Oh, sorry, it's not Cobb. It's Alvin, but that's the one I've been checking out a lot. Struggle with time a lot. Yeah. Dylan says he struggles with time a lot. No, sorry, not Dylan. Dalen. Misread it, Dalen. What do you struggle, like, speeding up or slowing down? Speeding up or slowing down, or both? Because drag. Okay, so dragging. Couple thoughts that have worked for me, because like I tell everybody, like, I'm pretty much a self-taught drummer, in a sense that I didn't have a teacher for a long time growing up and blah, blah, blah. But through this, you know, I've analyzed my own stuff. I have sped up and slowed down. A lot of times if I find myself dragging, I'm trying to play too much, and I'm not using the most efficient strokes possible. So, for instance, okay, how to stay sharp with so few gigs out there? Okay, that's a good question too. We'll hit that in a second. So, for instance, as far as the not slowing down, right? So, a lot of times, if I take video of myself and I notice I'm slowing down, I'm using overly big strokes. I want to use a big stroke, but sometimes I get it's a little too much. The longer the stroke, the more time it takes to get actually to the sound, right? From here to here. Now, I'm not a proponent of playing real tiny strokes, because then you're not subdividing the triplet. But that's, I think, the key. If you're playing straight ahead and you're subdividing the triplet, it's not just playing the downstroke in time, it's playing the upstroke in time. So you're really, if you leave your stick down too long, you're no longer doing the triplet. So if I'm slowing down, I'm noticing inconsistency with my stick motion, and oftentimes I may be going too high. I could still do it, a triplet subdivision, but I don't have to go this tall. I can go this tall. Triplet, 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 triplet. Something else that has helped me not slow down is chilling out with my hi-hat. I used to be a hi-hat stomper. All the energy and the focus of my time was on the hi-hat, and I was playing heel up, and I was, pressing it really hard. I can still play heel up on my hi-hat, but focus on the time is coming through your cymbal and the quarter notes on your cymbal, and your hi-hat is a result and with your ride cymbal, not the other way around. I call it being a right side drummer, not a left side. Right side, not the wrong side, which is the left side. The right side of your body is your right leg on your bass drum, your right hand on the ride cymbal, and that is driving the time, and that's where your focus is, not on your hi-hat. So by relaxing my hi-hat leg, like I said, sometimes playing heel down, but you can still play heel up, relax your leg. Don't let that be the focus of the time. The focus of the time is in your ride cymbal, which your hi-hat lines up perfectly with on 2 and 4. But once you focus the energy on your cymbal beat, that can help also. So those are a couple thoughts. In addition, if you're playing standards, if you're playing standards, sing the melody on and on and on throughout the whole tune, right? If you're playing Take the A Train, boo, be-da, ba, be-da, ba, bo-bo-doo-ba-oo, bo-doo-ba-oo-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-bo. Sing the melody in your brain the entire performance of the tune. It will, I'm going to do a lesson on jazz drum hang on learning tunes. But if you sing the tune if you sing the tune, it will inform your comping. And I think that's the greatest way to check the tempo during the performance. You're playing somebody's solo. You started A Train, boo, be, ah, ba, be, da. Third chorus of a solo, you sing it, boo, be, da, ba, be, da. You're like, oh shit, sped up. Okay, chill out. Don't slam on the brakes, but don't let it go maybe that much more. The other thing I'll say is this tempo thing is a big deal. Does the music feel good? All right? Art Blakey famously sped up a lot of things, but it felt great. Over the course of 11, 12 minutes, long song, Art Blakey sped up, nobody's complaining, all right? The opposite and equally magical Mel Lewis would slow things down. Like you would hear like start at some beginning of the track of Mel Lewis and go to the end, and it was like it was drastically different tempo that if you were in jazz school, they would say, well, your jury was a failure because you slowed down. Was like Mel made it feel good the whole time, and if it slowed down, it slowed down, but it felt good. Now the slowing down is the harder of the two. It's more exciting to speed up, so it's easier to let that go or not have it be noticed. And the magical thing, like Mel, Elvin, sometimes it's like it kind of can drag. It's like it still feels good. That's kind of some other world stuff. But don't get too caught up in it. Does it feel good? Does the melody still sound like the melody when you get to the end? If it's a little slower or a little faster, not the end of the world. Okay, sorry, ranting about that. I should do like 7 lessons on that. Does your bass drum sound go loud when playing fast too? No, I mean, it goes as loud as I want it to. I'm really, when I was doing that exercise earlier, I was trying to match the bass drum volume to the toms and snare drum volume. So I don't know if that came across as through the phone as good, bad, or otherwise, but I really felt like the overall volume of the bass drum was the same as my left hand. And I was trying to make both bass drum notes the same volume of each other, right? So I think that may be what you're asking. We had another question. Oh, yeah. 2 questions. Stay sharp with so few gigs out there. Play along to recommend. Okay. And then I have a question about linear 16th note triplets. Okay, and ride cymbal. So first, staying sharp. Let me put this phone on this stand so it's not like everyone's getting seasick and gonna vomit at home. Okay. All right, staying sharp for gigs is a matter of practicing with intent, as far as I'm concerned. Being consistent with your practice, making sure that your hands are in shape. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, let me grab this pad. It's not about, for me at least, that's all I can speak to. For me, it's not about, and for most people, it's not about shedding 18 hours a day, right? It's like getting certain things, paradiddles, getting my hands working comfortably, getting my hands flowing every day in a relaxed fashion. That's one. Number 2, like I said, practicing with purpose. And that means not just, especially in these times where we don't have gigs, or like I'm playing a lot of like restaurant gigs outside where I'm not even taking toms. It's just very soft, right? Practice playing soft. Practice playing fast, soft. Practice playing intense, densely rhythmic stuff, soft. Practice playing that way so that when you do go to the gig, it's not a shock that you've been sitting in your basement or your practice space for the last 6 months beating the shit out of the drums, and then when you go to a gig and you don't get to hit the drums with no dynamic worry anymore, it's not like a shocking, welcome to reality type vibe, right? So practice soft, practice fast, practice dense, practice playing, right? And always getting your hands going every day, and feeling that they're comfortable and relaxed, so that it's like putting oil in your car, man, so the thing can run. Your hands are your transmission, the engine, right? Just keep it lubricated, keep it happening, keep it working. The other thing I would say is listen. Like actively listening to music helps you stay sharp for a gig, because I find when I'm actively sitting listening to a record on my stereo, that is, if I can be as attuned to the music if I'm playing a gig as I am when I'm listening to my stereo, that's the goal. Like when I play drums, there's more things to worry about. There's more diversions. My own mind comes in. Why did you do that? Don't do this. You're speeding up. You're slowing down. That was a stupid fill, right? Ideally, on a gig, if I'm playing music, I can be as free to listen to the other musicians around me as I would be sitting in my living room listening to music, analyzing what is going on with the band, right? Like, oh, the bass player just started going to 2, or he just went to 4, or the piano player stopped comping for a chorus. What does the drummer do? Oh, as a result of, of that. So like all these musical decisions that are being made and listening to it and analyzing it in the real time, like you're on the bandstand. So that's those 3 things: the pad, getting your snare drum, the practicing with purpose, practice soft, practice dense, practice fast, all like you're actually at a gig, and then the listening thing to keep your ears and your brain really sharp and focused on listening to what's going on in the group. So there was a question about yes, I can recommend a solo. There was a question about linear 16th note triplets as it pertains to the jazz ride. Linear I'm trying to figure out, sorry, trying to figure out exactly, Newell, what you mean. If you mean like subdividing 16th note triplets, 16th note triplets. If I'm swinging, I'm subdividing 8th note triplets. I'm not subdividing 16th note triplets. If you're still here, maybe clarify just a little, because I want to answer your question. I'm not really sure what that means. What do I mean by practicing dense? I can show you that. Should you always play 4 on the floor? These are great questions. Okay, so first, we had a question. Recommend a solo that is easy to transcribe and has usable vocabulary. So, the first transcription that I usually send all my students, there's a drum hang video on it, of course. So first of all, you should go to the drum hang, jazzdrumhang.com, and there's a lot of stuff on there, free 7-day trial. If you're not there, you should be there, honestly. There's a Shelly Manne, drummer, Shelly Manne, 8-measure intro. And the 8-measure intro is on the song That's What I'm Talking About. So the song and the album is by an artist, Shorty Rogers. The song is That's What I'm Talking About. The drummer is Shelly Manne. And he plays an 8-measure introduction, which I think is the best 8 measures to transcribe if you want something fairly simple, fairly slow, but it's full of vocabulary. There's 3 main phrases in it. There's a triplet phrase, there's an 8th note phrase where he goes hand to foot, and then there's 5-stroke rolls. So there's rudimental stuff, there's hand to foot stuff, and there's a triplet phrase, all with dynamic shape, and it's very slick. The hard part about the transcription is that he starts with a pickup. And I just gave you the hint, because if you think the first sort of note or the first triplet he plays is beat 1, it's not accurate. He starts 1, 2, 3, and triplet 1. 1, 2, 3, and triplet 1. So he doesn't start on beat 1. So a lot of times students will come in and they'll give me the transcription, and they'll say it's 8.5 measures long. I'm like, nobody plays an 8.5 measure long intro, right? So the goal is to, sometimes you have to work from backwards to the beginning. So knowing where the band comes in is beat 1, work yourself backwards. So that's that, but I really recommend you go to jazzdrumhang.com. There's a whole episode on that solo. Probably the second episode I ever did. So it's there. Should I always play 4 on the floor with big band music? You shouldn't always do anything, frankly. You should be playing 4 on the floor in every musical setting, frankly. You really should. It depends on the tempo, depends on the style, depends on the room. Ideally, you have dynamic control and control at every tempo of 4 on the floor. Now, you don't have to, it's not a video game. If you stop playing 4 on the floor to play your bass drum with kicks, hits, comping, it just comes back in when it's natural and it's comfortable for you. It's not like you have to bring it in the very next note. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, you definitely should be playing 4 on the floor when you're playing big band music, but it's underneath the entire band. It's felt, it's not heard. And my saying is this: if you can't play it, if you don't have dynamic control of it yet, still do it. Put a little towel on your bass drum so it's not boomingly loud and doesn't sound like a marching band. Do what you need to do to help yourself control the bass drum dynamically while you keep shedding it until someday you could go play a 26-inch bass drum with no muffling in it and be able to control that drum. But that's like a very hard thing to do. I'm still working on it myself, but that's the end goal. So until then, 4 on the floor, put a towel on the bass drum batter head if you need it to help you, but play 4 on the floor, yes. Oh, you watched that one, Shelly. Okay, so, sorry. Oh, eighth note triplets. Okay. If you watch that, Shelly, man, the Max Roach solo on Sandu is probably the next one I would recommend. Max Roach on Sandu, that's a great solo if you haven't transcribed that one. Super great, usable solo vocabulary, very clear, very melodic. Of course, it's Max Roach. Let's see, eighth note triplets. What do I mean by, before I get there, what do I mean by practice dense? Yeah, like busy. So for instance, like practice playing really dense, really busy, and at the same time not really loud. So like, I don't know how loud this will seem, but like, you're at a restaurant gig, and you're gonna practice. To play really dense and really soft, which is a really good exercise. So I'll keep doing that, and then I'll actually raise the volume to like a comfortable, normal playing volume so you can hear the difference. This is me practicing dense, soft. So that's an example. I'm just talking about playing busy. Just play busy. Play as much stuff as you can, but at a soft dynamic range and with intensity. Cool. So, okay, we got a Sandu in the house. That's good. Great solo. Can't go wrong with that. Roger Humphreys again. Yeah, Roger Humphreys is the man. I love Roger. I do love Roger Humphreys. He keeps coming up, which is funny. Unless you were the same. I don't remember if you asked me that last week. Weird. Eighth note triplets. Newell. Eighth note triplets. What is so... as far as eighth note triplets... So as far as eighth note triplets and a ride cymbal beat, as far as I am concerned, your ride cymbal beat is based on eighth note triplets. When people say wide beat, tight beat, I know, I get it. I do. However, if you want to play a good beat, simply play the first note and the third note of the triplet on beats 2 and 4. There's so many people that play a tight beat, that play like ding, ding, ta-ting, ting, ta-ting, like really tight, like corny tight, that I think in 2020, if you really subdivide triplets, eighth note triplets, and you're going triplet, 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 if you, honest to God, just can subdivide a triplet, play it consistently, people will say you have a wide beat. People will like your cymbal beat. But it's not magic. It's just the triplet. So sing it and play it. Triplet, 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 triplet. The hard part is consistency and subdividing the triplets, saying it, feeling it. Jeff Hamilton, a great drummer, Jeff Hamilton, told me sing day, day, ga day for the beat. Day, day, ga day. Also, great educator, Ron Carter, saxophonist, not bass player, Ron Carter, said doodle-la, 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 doodle-la. That gets tiring, but as far as I'm concerned, eighth note triplet, that's the beat. That's your whole gig. I play. What did I say? Breakdown. A couple of things you just did. I don't remember what I just did, but I can maybe break some of it down. Heeled down. I mean, I honestly I play both. I mean, like so many people. Sorry about this. I gotta get a stand for this thing. It's next week. New and improved question and answer. I promise. Play heeled down with my bass drum. I would say 99% of the time. I play heeled down with my hi-hat maybe 30% of the time. I could play heel down on both feet 100% of the time if I wanted to. And I could also play heel up 100% of the time with both feet if I wanted to. Coming from like starting playing sort of like rock and funk and all that stuff first. Of course, like I started playing heel up bass drum all the time. That's what I did when I was first learning. Same with my hi-hat. So I've transitioned, and I used to think, how in the hell does anybody play with their heel down on the bass drum pedal? It used to like baffle me. And I have to say that it is just a matter of doing it and not hurting your leg or not being strenuous with it, but just doing it. And over time, it will become more comfortable and you will get it. It's like anything else, man. You just gotta get yourself to do it, be patient with it, and it will get easier. But heel down, heel down, heel down, heel down, heel down, heel down, heel down. Any other questions? Do you know about patterns? Ah, Sweden. Greetings. I don't have the patterns book by Gary Chafee. I should get it. I don't know if you were here, Gustav. Gustav, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I have this Jack DeJohnette book I've been practicing out of, which I think is really nice and fun. It's Jack DeJohnette and Charlie Perry, The Art of Modern Jazz Drumming. It's I think it's definitely worth picking up. I don't know if it's easily it used to be published by Hal Leonard, but I think there's some really fun patterns in it. So this is the book I've been sort of going through a little bit lately, that I've enjoyed. But I don't have patterns, so I should check that out. There was another question. Oh, about back pain. Yes. I do suffer from, like, I wouldn't say, no, I do not have chronic back pain. Like, I know that there are a lot of people in the world who have chronic back pain and serious back pain. I do not have serious back pain, but my back does get sore. I can feel it when I lay down to sleep at night, and it is a result of not sitting up straight on this goddamn stool, and I'm working on it. But ideally, I would maybe be looking all John Riley up here with super straight back. That would be awesome. Most of the time, I look like this. And so my tailbone is curled under, and that is a result of a lot of my back pain, you know? So I need to sit up straight. I need to sit up straight and improve it. It's hard when I'm playing intense. So, at least on a gig, even if I'm playing intense or I'm playing a long time, I can at least think about sitting up straight when I'm maybe playing a ballad or I'm playing something that's not requiring as much physical exertion, right? So I am doing that a lot lately, trying to say, okay, I can, if my posture isn't great when I'm taning out and I'm really going for it, you know, because when I shuffle, I get that hunch thing happening, but at least I can straighten my back during the ballad, during some, you know, when somebody's talking, I can, you know, making sure I stretch my back. But ideally, I would sit up straight, and a lot of drummers do deal with a lot of back pain. So I prefer a harder stool. I actually really like this stool. I'm not a huge gear freak. This is this DW stool, but it's round. It's not super soft, and that actually I feel like gives me a little better support. The softer the seat, the more I seem to slouch. So it's my 2 cents. Yeah, the rock and sock backrest is cool. I've never seen any, like, I wouldn't play when I'm playing use the backrest. I used to have one on a break. It's cool. It's just, you know, those are good. Let's see. Mambo. I can't explain the Mambo. I have a whole lesson. You know what? The Mambo, because I'm about out of time and I gotta go teach a lesson. I will, if you stop back or check out Jazz Drum Hang, I did a whole lesson on the Mambo and actually the Elvin, because Elvin Latin is just basically a mambo with the Charleston and the bass drum beat. Ba ba boo doo ba doo go doo beat ba 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 da da. I can't count it. The mambo. I will do a lesson. I have done a lesson, jazz drum hang on the mambo. And if not, if you catch me again here, when I have more time, we can go over that. I've heard Billy Cobham, Spectrum, love that album, and other things for sure. Okay, two other quick questions. Practicing John Riley, Art of Bop Drumming, having trouble getting comping exercises into my playing. Yeah, well, you don't need to like be proficient. Well, first of all, you should be able to play through all the exercises as an exercise, right? What I tell my students and what I've done myself is I make a list of, say, your five favorite comping make a list of your 5 favorite comping examples in the Riley book. Revoice them so that you're learning the muscle memory and you're learning those comping phrases, but not just snare drum and bass drum. But then play along with music. Label them. Maybe even do 10. You know, these are the 10 phrases out of the Riley book that I really love. 1 through 10. Put on a record. Put on Hank Mobley's Soul Station. Put on, Blue Train. Whatever. Just put on a record. Practice along with the record. And literally, like, flashcards, right? So, like, number 1, bigu, bigu, ga, ga. Whatever it is. Then you're playing along. You're comping subconsciously, comping whatever comes out, and then all of a sudden, okay, number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, without stopping your flow, without losing the time, without playing louder, softer, anything. So that is a way to get them in your head. First, maybe look at them, your 10, say, okay, 1, 6, 8, 3, 9, right? And then take the sheet away. Do you have the 10 memorized? Can you say, okay, 7? So this is what horn players do on a gig. They learn patterns on tunes or chord changes, and then they just recite it at the gig. And so you're not cheating if you go to a gig and you feel like you are running out of comping vocabulary and you say, okay, Riley 8 in your brain, and you play it. So maybe you haven't played Riley 8 all gig, and it's new, and it gets you hearing some different things and moving in a different direction. I think that's totally fair. I think it's systematic. I think it's a good way to go about it. So that might help get some of those actually in your playing. Pick your top 10, plug them in while you're actually playing music, and then can you do it subconsciously? That's my answer to that question. I am taking private students. I'm always taking private students. Don't trust people who tell you that they're not. Like, I have 2 openings. Man, nobody's working, man. Everybody's out of a gig. Yes, I'm accepting private students. Jazz Drum Hang is my website. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos I've made, ranging from 3 minutes to 20 minutes long. So short ones, long ones, stuff on drummers like Billy Higgins, Max Roach, Mel Lewis. My own vocabulary, things on brushes, things on sticks, Latin, playing in 7. Jazz Drum Hang is where it's at, jazzdrumhang.com. There on my YouTube descriptions, there's a link to a 7-day trial. On the site, there's a link to a 7-day trial. And through those lessons, you can then also sign up. You can sign up for Skype, Zoom, hour lesson if you want. It's $60 for a lesson. That also includes a full month membership to Jazz Drum Hang. So the month membership to Jazz Drum Hang in itself is $15 a month. It's a ton of stuff you get for $15, and then if you want a lesson, it's $45 additional. You're not going to find a better deal. Also, at Jazz Drum Hang, I offer what I call the virtual studio. The virtual studio is Jazz Drum Hang membership, and then video exchange, which I find is super effective for students. So you can send me as many videos as you want in a month for critique, whether you're playing, practicing, send me your video, I send you one back. So it's really personalized one-on-one instruction for an entire month, for 30 days. So that's also there. So jazzdrumhang.com. Thanks for stopping by the question and answer. I will find a better phone system so nobody gets seasick next week. But take care, everybody. Thank you. Peace. Stay safe. If you're in the United States, please vote and wear a mask. Adios.